we're gonna do some audio balance for the stream side of things. So Nathan, if you are still here, this works a little differently than the gameplay live stream, so I need to know how loud I am compared to Dave.
Yeah.
Because he's on a different audio channel than me.
Yep. So I guess I'll just talk so he can hear me. He needs to let us know how loud we are.
And so far we've got no comments. How about I say a sentence and you say a sentence, so eventually he'll say if it's good or not. So, alright, I've just said my sentence.
Okay, and I'm going to say my sentence. This is a sentence. Let's talk about sentences.
Yep, so sentences are pretty good for actual communicating with other people because you should always talk in complete sentences.
Yes, you should, but they can also be a bad thing, like if you're sentenced to a lifetime in prison or sentenced to death.
True, but those are different kinds of sentences. Alright, T says I hear you both loud and clear at just the right level of
Yes,
volume.
I see that, which is very good. We are glad that we were at the right level of volume.
Alright then, so, alright Dave, so I've got everything pulled up that I need. I'm just going to copy and paste the rest of the agenda on top.
Yeah, I guess if you want to just make it quick in the Skype chat, if you want to just quickly paste.
I already been
Okay.
there, dude. Yeah. Oh shit, it just took me off the page. Take me to the live control.
Oh, wait a minute. You don't even need to. It's already here. I got it.
Yeah, it had taken me out of the chat and out of the control room. But alright, so perfect. Alright, so check. No, you're fine for background noise on your end.
I should be. I mean, there are people down here, but they're being quiet for me.
Okay, so I guess the goal would be what, hour-long show?
Tops. Absolute tops.
Tops.
Try to make it, you know, we'll try to be as in and out as we can with this stuff.
Yeah. Alright, so do you have Audacity open?
I have Cool Edit.
Or whatever
I have
program
Cool
you
Edit.
use. Yeah, whatever program you use. Okay, so we'll start recording on those first. So we'll record. This is for those of you on the live stream. This is for the SoundCloud version that Dave has to edit.
Yep.
All right, so we will hit record in 3, 2, 1, go.
I am recording as well.
All right, cool. Alright, so without further ado, we will silence ourselves for a moment and begin the show.
The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Coming down the aisle, Matt, Dave, the Superplex Brothers.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first Superplex Bros podcast of 2017, and we are live on YouTube. As always, I'm Matt.
Dave.
And woo boy, we have a show for you guys this time. It's been a long time. We last did a show before the holidays.
Yeah.
it was busy for us, man. Like, obviously you working in retail, things picked up on that front. I had a trip to the United States, so that took me out of the picture for a while. It's just been absolutely crazy. Unable to get any kind of show together, that's for sure. But that's all changed today, and it's all changed going forward. So our first topic for today's show is going to be actually a address of the brand, state of the brand address, so to speak.
Yeah.
And Dave, I'll let you lead in with that.
Unfortunately, things are not good. Understatement. They're
bad.
really bad. There's a reason why we're doing this new live format. There's a reason for a lot of the things we're doing. The website will be going down starting next month. Just to be perfectly honest, we just can't keep up anymore. Between my busy schedule, Matt's busy schedule, it ended up being that our writers were holding the fort down while we were doing other things, and it's not fair to them. It's not fair to the readers, and it's just there's too much money going into this website for us to not really be able to use it. So we have to basically cut our losses, and the website's going down. But that said, the Superplex Bros are not dead, far from it. We will be going strong with the podcast, which is basically going back to our roots. And we're really going back to our roots doing this live. When we first started, we were doing it live. And we're back to where we were. So hopefully, this being our third or fourth reboot of the podcast, we can actually, get it right this time.
Well, we underestimated or overestimated our free time. The last reboot, the most recent one in the late summer. So that was our bad completely. Just things did not work out the way we expected. November in general, for me personally, was just an awful month. So, and December was all right. December was made mostly by my trip to the States. But, so, yeah, deciding to shut down the website, not an easy decision. I know that, T's here in the live stream chat. He wrote for us for a very long time. I know that, he improved so much during that time. I'm sure it sucks to have something that you've been doing for so long just suddenly be over. But as Dave mentioned, and I'll be upfront about this, I was doing all the website stuff out of pocket, and the only time we got money back was when we had our Patreon. And we'll be looking to reboot that as well in the near future, but that'll probably be a few weeks away at this stage.
It really wasn't even until I started working that even I could start contributing to the site, and by then it was too little too late.
Yeah, so we haven't had a formal statement go up on the website yet, but that'll probably go up around the same time as this podcast, which will be the last podcast hosted on the website. Now, of course, if you missed this on live stream on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/rmgmdpunk or /mdpunk, however YouTube lets you find it. Of course, as always, these will be for free, 100% for free, always on SoundCloud.
Absolutely.
So never forget that, guys. If you miss a live show, it is on SoundCloud. If you're listening to this on SoundCloud, join us for a live show. We try and announce the dates for the live show at least a day in advance, because typically our schedules are not set. We don't have set 9-to-5 jobs or anything. So it's literally a case of at the beginning of a week, we sit down and we're going to pick a day we can both do the live show, and we're going to do the live show then. So once we pick the date, we will let everyone know immediately with an event on YouTube, and you can check our Facebook page. I wouldn't check our Twitter, it's dead, but check our Facebook page and you'll find out when the next live podcast is. And that brings us to the next part of the State of the Address, which is the podcast. It's very different. Obviously we're live again. As Dave mentioned, we haven't been live in nearly 3 years.
Yeah, it's true.
Because we hadn't been live since before I moved here, and I moved here in April 2014. So about 2.5 years, or 2, 3, 4 years really, it's been since we were live. And we were live on Twitch. Not
you
on
also
YouTube.
Noticed I didn't introduce the show. Yeah,
I did that. New era, new year, new us. That's mostly because I'm the one streaming it, so it'd be weird to kind of have that bit of awkward silence waiting on Dave to realize the intro music had played. So we decided to switch things up a bit and let me lead in the show so things are a bit more natural that way.
So
I guess that will lead us. That's pretty much it, I think. We're going back to the podcast format, and that's probably going to be it. I guess the last actual thing that I just thought of just now is guests. If you are listening to this show live and you want to be on the Superplex Bros podcast, after we announce a date, because we're not going to really bend our schedules for a third person, because we've done that in the past and it led to disaster. But we are going, once we pick a date, if you want to hop on board the panel for the show, we'll give you an idea on what topics are covering. You can decide if you want in or out, and we'll happily have you in. Our only requirement is you have a decent microphone. You don't have to have a perfect microphone. Dave and I both have really good ones that we've acquired over the past couple
love
years.
my Blue Yeti.
But as long as you have yeah, I love my Blue Snowball, though I would prefer a Yeti at this stage, but the Snowball's doing fine. But if you want in on the show, just let us know privately if you can, and we'll try and get something sorted, because, we want to have, since we're not going to have a website anymore, we would love to get more opinions on the show itself, and not just have it.
Absolutely. And one last thing as far as the brand goes, we are going to have the podcast, but also the Superplex Bros being us. If we ever decided to collab on YouTube, that's what it would be under, as the Superplex Bros. Not really anything huge or important. I just figured I'd throw it out there just for clarity.
Right, and they're actually, when we get to YouTube projects, we're actually going to discuss a little something that we've had in the works for about over a year now, and I think we're finally going to be able to do it soon.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no point keeping it under wraps. We might as well talk about it, because it's really exciting. But I'm not going to do that right now. We're not doing that until we get to the YouTube project section. Our first topic of the show, because that was kind of its own intro bit here, is, are the Superplex Bros done with professional wrestling? So this podcast and this whole thing started off as a show about pro wrestling and video games, and you noticed that when I started the show, I didn't say this is the podcast about professional wrestling and video games, because Dave, when was the last time you watched wrestling? Like a full show. Not clips, a full show.
SummerSlam.
Okay, so even worse than me. I watched Survivor Series, but I was kind of forced to.
Yeah,
Not even Lucha Underground can keep our love for wrestling alive. I'll be honest, it's basically non-existent. I still have favorite wrestlers, and if I hear about really good matches, there was one from Wrestle Kingdom 11 that I actually really want to check out, because Dave Meltzer gave it 6 stars.
Somebody was talking to me about that today, actually.
So, things like that catch my interest, but watching wrestling on a weekly basis, unless the product significantly gets better, and again, even with Lucha Underground, which we adored, we fell out of that before we fell out completely with WWE.
To be fair to Lucha Underground, I think part of that too is because we had to write about it every week, and once you skip a week or two, it's like, oh crap, this has to go up on the website, and we got to write about it. Yeah. That didn't help.
It snowballs.
And I think now, because I'm pretty sure season 3 has to be almost over.
No, season 3, I was reading on a website today that season 3 is about to air their mid-season finale. So they're only halfway through, but they're taking a break, which could be a good time for us to catch up. In which case, we'll be talking about wrestling on the podcast. But for the most part, I don't have that same
care.
That same feeling about wrestling. Yeah, I don't care.
Used to...
WWE is just spoon-feeding people at this stage.
I mean, I've heard good things about SmackDown, but honestly, at this point, it's like trying to cling onto a sinking ship. I don't care anymore. And don't get me wrong, I still like wrestling to a point. I don't follow any particular show, but I still say I'm a wrestling fan. It's still a form of entertainment to me, but I can't get into WWE anymore. I just can't. And the thing is, too, you would think Kevin Owens is the champion on Raw. AJ Styles is the champion on SmackDown. You would think, holy shit, it must be the golden age. But no. Somehow, despite the fucking talent they have on these shows, they can't keep my interest because the booking is still shit.
Yeah, the booking is the same as it's always been. Yes, there's a lot more talent on the roster, but if you don't have talent on your writing staff, then it doesn't. You can have all the talent in the ring in the world, but the stories of booking are still going to suck.
Yeah, like this past Tuesday, Dolph Ziggler turned heel, and it's like, that's 2 years too late. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. And that's sad. That's sad, man. It's sad because, again, the way I see it is, yeah, of course, even if we decide to catch up with Lucha Underground, it's at the end of an era because this is the first time during the Superplex Bros existence we haven't consistently watched WWE programming.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also the first time, at least since Lucha Underground started, that we haven't been like ranting and raving about how it's like the greatest thing ever.
And, you know, part of me is worried because no one else is either. People who are still watching the show on a weekly basis, it doesn't have the hype. I think Season 2 did a lot of damage.
It probably did, because Season 2 was a big disappointment. It just was. It really... Yeah, it was pretty much a big disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of went into... We did a full review of that, didn't we, of Season 2?
I think we did.
I'm pretty sure we did, yeah. We went into... Yeah, we did. I remember writing that because we went into, like, the overarching storylines of the season and which ones we hated and which ones we liked. Things like that. So that's on the website, but of course, again, you have until, I think it's February 4th or 5th to view those. And, of course, if the writers are listening, if you want to archive any of the reviews or articles you have written, please make sure you get them from the website before the shutdown date. I will get a specific shutdown date posted on the website when I get one. I'll probably do that after the show.
Yeah.
But, you know, I know there's some things I wrote on there that I'm really proud of. I'm sure, like, you will take your Super Mario Bros. 3 review off there because, like, that was probably your penultimate piece, if not your just
I consider it my magnum opus. It is easily the most in-depth thing I've ever written about anything.
So yeah, anything like that, you probably want to archive as soon as possible. You don't wait till the last minute. Don't do it. Don't do it. So our next topic here will be recent video game pickups because it's the holidays. It was the holidays, you know, and we both have proper jobs. So, you know, during the gaming season that hits during every holidays, we picked up some games. And Dave, what'd you pick up this week?
Well, I actually, of course, I don't know if this is out of that time frame, but we both got Xenoverse 2.
I'd say it is because we didn't do the podcast when Xenoverse 2
yeah,
was
we.
out. Actually, I think that it's a reminder. The last podcast we did was the week before Xenoverse 2 came out.
Yeah.
Because I remember we talked about how we were excited for it.
Yeah, I got Xenoverse 2. I ended up getting Garo Mark of the Wolves on PS4 just because it's an SNK fighting game.
You got Shadow of the Beast. I don't think you ever played
I played a little bit of it. I did get Doom. I got Doom.
And
Overwatch. And Pokemon, yeah. And we also got JoJo.
Pokemon. JoJo. We got JoJo.
I finally I sat down and, like, went right through that game finally. I'm actually...
How was it? Because, like, I played the first couple fights. I played the Stardust Crusader section.
Really enjoy it, actually. I beat the main story, and now I'm just going through, like, because of course there's like side missions, almost like parallel quests in Xenoverse, but not. It's not quite the same thing. It's not like you get hidden objectives and then something else happens. It's just side mission fights, but they have like cool what ifs.
How's Dio over heaven?
Very white. He is very.
I thought he was like.
No, he is very white. Like white and gold.
Oh, I guess he is supposed to basically signify him. He's reaching God.
Yeah. His fight was actually really easy. Well,
that's not what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's difficult if you don't understand the gimmick because it's a gimmick. I won't spoil it, but it's like once you figure out how he works, it's not that difficult.
Right.
But
we got a Risk game that we're gonna definitely live stream and do a playthrough.
And Monopoly.
And Monopoly.
It's online.
So maybe game night is happening. Superplex Bros present game night live. We'll have to do that on a weekend or something.
Yeah, or just...
We'll have to arrange that sometime.
Yeah, we'll have to find a way to arrange it. I don't know how, or if... Or, well, I don't know if it would be a night, but like during the day on a time where we're both available.
Yeah, but I know on my side of video game pickups, I got, aside from the stuff that Dave and I game shared, which we listed a few things there, I got Dragon Ball Fusions, which I played a bunch of when I was in Houston. It's really good. It's actually really fun. There's a bit of bullshit to it, and I'm kind of stuck in some of that bullshit right now with enemies that regenerate all of their health.
I want to get that game.
It's good. It's for $30.
I really want to get that game.
Like, it's one of the best $30 games I've ever played.
I started watching, I don't know if anybody watching the show knows who this is, but Numb Nexus started a playthrough of it today on his channel, and from what I've seen, I didn't watch much of it, but I'm interested.
It's good, man. It is really good. And, like, in the Japanese version, they already have, like, fucking Merge Zamasu and Vegeta Blue in it as free DLC.
Nice.
Yeah, and Super Saiyan Rage Trunks.
Nice.
Shit like that. It's super caught up to Super. No pun intended. But I also got Final Fantasy 15, which has been my big stream project lately. I think the people who've been coming out to that have been enjoying it.
I have.
I've been enjoying it, definitely.
Yeah,
You
I
want
want
it now. You're not even a huge Final Fantasy
No,
fan.
I'm not. Like, when it comes to Final Fantasy, there's a few that I've gone, like, quite in depth with or gotten quite far with. The main ones being the Super Nintendo trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. I also, believe it or not, got into Final Fantasy X when I was younger. And I had Final Fantasy VIII, and I played through, like, the first disc, and then I just kind of stopped. But I never really was, like, into Final Fantasy the way a lot of people are into Final Fantasy. But this game looks really fun, even though I've been cracking jokes, like, the whole time during the stream. Like,
well, so have I. It's a bachelor party / boy
fucking
band
Sasuke Uchiha, fucking... What the hell is that douchebag's name in WWE? Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
and Liam Neeson go on adventures.
Yeah. But I also got Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I actually recently started on stream as well, and of course barely cracked the surface of that, but I already like it a lot.
Yeah.
But I like the reboot, so of course I'm gonna like.
Funny story about him getting that game. He's like, "Oh man, I really want to get this game, but I don't have the money. Here you go, just get the money. Here you go."
Yeah, you just gave it. I was like, oh, I'd have to wait till Friday, and it might be off sale. You're just like, no, here, get it. And I was like, God damn it.
Oh my god, I have spent how much money on you this year?
You probably have evened out the past like.
Yeah, I
because I only got you shirts.
I love them to death though, but I mean,
and coughing and wheezing.
Yeah, which I keep in my wallet. I carry them on me at all times.
Wasn't that
yeah
sweet?
But fuck it, quick Christmas gift talk. Tell them the stuff that I got you.
Okay, well, it's hard to remember all of it because I actually got a lot of stuff combined this year. The big thing you got me, and the holy shit present, was without a doubt a custom-made Trunks jacket from Dragon Ball Z, my favorite fucking Dragon Ball character, who now I'm determined to get fit and cosplay because of the jacket. And then you got me the Master Star Piece Super Saiyan Trunks figure. You got me a dope-ass shirt with Vegeta Blue and Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta on it. And you got me Rise of the Tomb Raider. Is that those are the big ones?
I
right?
also got you Pokemon Sun.
That's right! You did get me Pokemon Sun! God, dude, yeah, you were nuts on me this year. Like, you easily caught up, because, like, I remember there was a couple years where I bought you, like, 4 or 5 games.
Well, here's a little history. Like, I mean, if it isn't obvious, Matt and I are basically best friends, and for years we've been getting gifts for each other. But Matt would always spend, like, $100 on me, and I'd spend, like, $5. And it's like, I always felt like such a shitheel, even though I didn't make no money. But at the same time, it's like, oh my God, this guy just spent fucking thousands on me, and I'm giving him pennies. But I finally fucking beat you.
You beat me this year. You beat me this year only because I happened to be going on vacation for Christmas.
But
because I would have stepped
it's
up
fine.
and gotten everyone a lot more this year.
It's fine.
But
Well, you know me. Listen. You got me 2 band shirts and coughing and wheezing Pokemon cards, and I was more ecstatic about it than you probably were about the shit I got you.
Probably. But all right. So I think that's it for our recent video game pickups and impressions there. Lots of good stuff, honestly, and more stuff I wish I could play through. But of course, there are playthroughs going up on my YouTube channel, but we'll get to those in a minute. First things first, we have to talk about something. We had a bit of a rebrand, not for the Superplex Bros, obviously. We're still calling ourselves that. But the Superplex Pokemon League is now completely gone.
Finite.
And so, the next part of the show, we're going to talk about the IPA, the International Pokemon Association. So I am the head administrator, and Dave is one of the administrative team, but he's also a competitor, which means that that's why I'm just the head admin, because I am not a active competitor. So that means that basically, while Dave enforces the rules and we talk about a lot of the rules before we make them, I am basically spearheading the projects related to the IPA. And it's basically the Superplex League Evolved, Mega Evolved even. And now with its own independent brand, we had 16 competitors for a season ready to go. We drafted, and midway through the draft, someone dropped.
Yeah, that sucked. I'm trying to talk to a few people to see if I can get anything done with that, but it's...
And unfortunately, at this rate, we're so far out from the first draft and there's still people that we haven't heard from since before the draft. And this is the first time I'm really addressing this publicly. I've addressed it to a couple people privately. If we have to get more than 2 people, we have to redraft. Because it's only fair.
Which really sucks, but at the same time, it's fair.
Yeah. Though I've also been reading up on some suggestions and whatnot, and one suggestion was that allow 2 of each Pokemon in each tier. Which also allows us to have more than 16 competitors, which is a big thing that, we actually have had over 16 before and had a lot of issues. So basically how it will work is if we get more than 16 competitors, that will cause an automatic redraft. If we hit 17 or 18 or more than that, it will cause an automatic redraft where there can be 2 of each Pokemon.
Yeah.
So, if you know anyone who is interested in competitive Pokemon battling, don't send them our way quite yet. We have a project in the works. We're actually working on a full-blown website for the IPA that will include a sign-up form. And when that goes live, which hopefully will be within a couple weeks, because there's a lot of work to do on it. We've literally bought it and bought a theme. So we have to learn the theme and then start applying our own stuff to the theme. And we have to order a bunch of logos for people, because even though people have been making logos, a lot of people can't make logos. So we have to order some.
Yeah, some of them have come out really good. Some of the logos that we've seen came out really good.
Some could use improvement.
Mine.
But yours is fine, I think. Or even if we sent in what those logos look like and got new artwork, because my problem with a lot of the artwork is that we couldn't actually put it on shirts. And the reason for that is that it's using official artwork. Now, if it was all fan artwork like the IPA logo is, that's why we can put that on a shirt and sell that, no problem.
Yeah.
But if we use official artwork, whether it's, Dave has a sprite of Wheezing, Stephanie has a Pokken render of Eevee, we can't put those on shirts.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if nothing else, we could always just use them as, like, prototype designs to send to other people. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. I just literally have them remake them. Now, I know Stephanie made the background of hers, so I'd probably say use this background, like the wave part. She custom made that. The only thing we would actually need, if she doesn't want to do it herself, which she probably will, is a drawing of Eevee. Yeah,
and mine is basically the New York Rangers logo, just without the New York Rangers font on it.
Which, that's technically legal.
Like, I literally just got an image of the shield shaped, then colored it my colors and wrote out the font myself.
But, so that's the IPA. Again, we'll probably have a big topic on the IPA. We'll probably, basically do a podcast that's basically a glorified advertisement for it. When we get that website ready
definitely.
To go. But if you're interested in writing for the website, because not only is it going to host our league, we're going to have, team building tips and shit like that. Basically, think Smogon, but for our league. What works in our league, because Smogon, and this is my problem with Smogon when people use it for our league. Now, don't get me wrong, it's super helpful for basic team building, but people use it in the league as the end-all be-all when Smogon is not, their database is not designed for draft format, right?
Pretty much. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not designed for draft format. So when you get team builds and stuff, it's basically for an OU or a Ubers or a Meta where you're gonna see a lot of the same Pokemon. While in this case, you're gonna see this Pokemon you're countering for once, maybe twice.
Yeah, pretty much. I really like draft format because, one, it forces you to use Pokemon that you normally wouldn't use. Especially when, somebody, like let's say you're trying to gun for a specific Pokemon, and somebody gets it. Well, shit, what am I going to do now? I mean, this is basically my RU draft. But it's like, oh, I found all these Pokemon that I have to basically use now, and it's like, well, shit. And then it turns out they end up being really good. I'm trying to think if there was any examples of that in the previous season. Oh, freaking Zapdos on my team ended up being a marvelous thing.
To the point where
I gunned for Zapdos. What else? I'm trying to think of anything else off the top of my head. But,
it's hard to think on the top of your head, but the point still stands.
I mean, there's a lot of Pokemon that, even without talking draft format, Pokemon that people don't normally use, you end up realizing, holy crap, these Pokemon are really good. Let's be frank, I've turned Weezing into a legend among our circle.
Yeah, people actually respect Weezing a lot, and to the point where people tried to snipe from you, and you had to trade up to get it.
I went through hell and back to make sure that Weezing stayed with the West Haven Weezings.
But, that could change again, because if we redraft, there'll be a new draft order.
Yeah.
So, there's always that. So, but that's the IPA. That's all hypothetical stuff, except for the website is coming. But we will need writers for that, preferably league members, because, it'd be nice if you just wrote about the Pokemon on your team.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have to sneeze really bad, and, it's stuck.
Oh.
That's the worst feeling. Oh, man. Oh, okay, I'll come back later.
Okay.
So, the next subject we're going to talk about here are our YouTube and side projects. Normally, this is actually at the end of the show, but the way we're doing this new show format is that this is basically the middle space between our smaller subjects beforehand and our big subject that's at the end.
It's fluff.
It's fluff. So, Dave, I'll let you go first because I think your YouTube has been a bit more active than mine.
Actually, I finally made a comeback. And while I'm not uploading every day per se, I basically, when I don't work, I spend a day off just recording a bunch of episodes. But I am doing a Nuzlocke of Pokemon Crystal, and the people who have been watching have been telling me that it's been a fun ride. So
it's been really fun.
Despite how angry I get.
Well, you can also tell this is your first project, as well you should mention this. This is your first, solo project. Correct me if I'm wrong. That you're doing live commentary on, and you've seen how basically working with me and doing the show has adapted you to where you're much more natural and live than you were in the post, which is why you stopped Pokemon Glaze to begin with, is that you realized that you were no longer suited for post commentary, which was your biggest asset in the past, but someone had an influence on changing that.
Well, not only that, but it was also that game was way too long, and to do a game that long with post commentary, I was basically setting up a funeral for my channel. It was going to be a bad ride going just all around. But now that I'm getting into this live commentary stuff because I have an all new laptop, I can do that now. I've already got a lot of projects that I really want to do, and I even want to revisit games that I've covered before and play them in new ways. The big one that I talked about with Matt, and this one I'm definitely going to do, is a Super Mario Bros. 3 challenge run. Let's be honest, it's no secret, Super Mario Bros. 3 is my favorite game of all time, and I've basically gotten to the point where I can say with a lot of confidence that I am a master of the game. You know? I can say that with the utmost confidence, and I am actually putting my money where my mouth is. I'm going to do a challenge run where I will not get a single power-up at all.
Aside from mandatory sections, because you said there's at least one section where you have to use a power-up, where the game literally gives you no choice. You can't.
Yeah, pretty much. That is pretty much what it's going to be. And the only way I would get around that would be if I skip that level entirely. But if I want to show off every level in the game, I kind of have to play it. So, yeah. But yeah, I am going to do a challenge run where I will not a single mushroom, not a single fire flower, not a single leaf, no hammer suit, no nothing. Nothing. And I'm going to do it. And it's going to be a fun ride. Now, it's the first time I've ever played this game while having to do live commentary, so it'll either go really well or it'll be a complete disaster, but one way or the other, somebody's going to have fun doing it.
Yeah. And then that brings us to a co-op project that we've had in the works. We even fully recorded one, but I don't think we liked how it turned
really
out.
Did not turn out that great. Not necessarily because because we got a lot of really good stuff during that, but just the circumstances involved with recording it is just it was pretty bad.
Yeah, but we're going to formally announce that we are in the works, or about to enter the works, of doing a Soul Lock run of Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue.
Yep, it's one that we've been wanting to do Soul Link for a long time. We even, like Matt said, we recorded a full Soul Link, but
and a half. We started on Gen 2.
We started on Gen 2. You want to talk about, let's talk. We actually spent several months recording that, too. It started in December and ended in March.
When we were editing it, we were like, this is before you got your Yeti mic. And it was like, man, your audio doesn't sound great. It's hard to sync up with everything. It's really hard to get the project put together.
Yeah.
And, that's still something we kind of have to iron out a bit, but we're excited to actually try and move forward with it because we think it'd be a very entertaining project at this stage.
Yeah, it would be a very entertaining project. And
now, the only thing I'll say is that it will probably come after your Mario Challenge run because you're doing Pokemon Crystal right now. So you don't want two back-to-back Pokemon projects. So you'll do Pokemon Crystal, you'll do Mario, and then we'll do
honestly, the way I see it, I want to basically be alternating between Pokemon, other game, Pokemon, other game, Pokemon, other game, and so on and so forth. And I'll probably even, because obviously I'm not necessarily recording DS games, so I'm not going to be playing those kind of games, but I want to start getting into ROM hacks again too. Because that'll be a lot of fun. I have a few ROM hacks that I've been looking at over the past couple months that I really like. There's that one Pokemon ROM hack I showed you that was like Pokemon Red Deluxe, which was pretty sweet. And also, I want to also have fun with randomizers because I want to just have unleash full chaos.
You already kind of did.
Oh, I mean, even more chaos.
Well, you unleashed about 80%
yeah.
chaos?
But what happens when I go to 100?
You get really randomized.
Super chaos.
But, yeah, so, and then on my front, we just recorded / live streamed a full playthrough of Telltale's Batman, and once I finish making the thumbnails for that, that will become a daily upload till that's done. And then my live streams, which I keep saying I want to try and find a set schedule for them, but I know there's just not going to be one. But it's a live stream exclusive playthrough of Final Fantasy 15. After Batman finishes, I don't know what I'll do upload wise. It'll probably be time for Soul Link by then. If I had to guess, right, it's January 5th now. I'd say our Soul Link will probably start early March.
Something like that. Early to late March.
Yeah. Probably just
it just really depends on a few things. One, it depends on when our project's finish. It also depends on just scheduling.
Well, we'll probably record in advance. It'll be when they start going up.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's still 2 months off. We'll be able to record it within 2 months. But yeah, so that's it for YouTube projects. That took a bit longer than I expected. So finally, we're going to end this show with something we missed last year, and that was our end of the year awards. Now, this year we have significantly cut back on the amount of categories. However, not only is there a winner this year, there will be an honorable mention for each category. Some of these categories and awards only apply to one of us. Like I did an Anime of the Year award, and Dave did an Album of the Year award. Because those are aspects that when we did the website even, we covered those separate from each other. So, we're going to start off with our first award, and this year's first award was the Best Video Game Conference of 2016, and the honorable mention goes to the PlayStation Experience 2016 press event from December. I know, Dave, your memory is shit, but I fucking loved that show. We got a new trailer for Ni no Kuni. We got all the free games they fucking dropped on us that night. Oh man, it was easily the second best show of the year. And of course, it happened to be Sony. And of course, it's probably gonna get people going, Sony fanboys. We're not Sony fanboys. We just have no problem admitting who's the best and who's not.
That's just gonna make it sound
I know it makes it sound worse. But it's literally a case of
no, it's just
who puts on the best show.
It's just a matter of who, and I say this all the time when it's time to do these conferences. Who puts on a show that makes you want to buy their games? And honestly, it does come down to Sony doing that.
Yeah. They were phenomenal this year. Which leads us to the fact that the winner of our Best Game Conference was Sony's E3 2016 press conference, which even Sony fans have to admit, that was one of the best shows ever.
Now see,
it was game after game after game after game. We started off with fucking God of War. Oh, it was fantastic.
I'm sure the chat's gonna be wondering, wow, you mean EA didn't win?
I know, right?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but we're not fans of seals. You know, we're not.
No,
we don't want sports.
And we even admitted at the time that Microsoft had a good show, and Nintendo's Zelda stuff was fun to watch, but like, it was no real competition this year. Sony just came out and just said, "Fuck it, games."
Yeah, and even like the smaller conferences, like the Ubisoft conference, the Bethesda conference was even a letdown because like Doom was already out, and
it was a huge letdown. They did not have a lot of stuff prepared for this year. They should have done one.
They really shouldn't have. I mean, their conference last year, well, I say last year, it's 2017 now, but the year before, they almost ran away with taking the whole show. And then this year, it's like they petered out, and it was sad. I think the only thing that would have saved them, and I know you're not necessarily a big fan of this, but if they said Elder Scrolls 6, that would have probably made them at least a little better than they were. But no, it's like, oh, we got an Elder Scrolls card game.
Well, they even said that like Elder Scrolls 6 wouldn't enter development until they were done with Fallout 4, and a big chunk of their conference went to Fallout 4's big DLC. Yeah. So, there's that. Alright, so our next award is the Album of the Year Award. Dave, take it away.
Okay, so, as you guys know, I am a big music fan, and my honorable mention for the Album of the Year goes to the album Sorceress by Opeth. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Opeth is. They're basically like a doom prog band. Really heavy music, very moody music. It's not stuff for everybody, but I happen to really like Opeth, and this album was just really, really good. A lot of real, just awesome sounding music, but there's one album that I liked more, and that is our album of the year, which goes to Metallica's Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Now, for those of you who have been listening to the podcast and have been just talking to me in general, I have been hyped for this album since like August of 2015. When they first were like, oh hey, we're gonna release an album next year. I was like, oh shit, a new album is coming. And as it got closer, I'm like, oh god, this album's coming out. I can't wait. I pre-ordered it. I can't wait for this album. And then it finally hit, and it was a really good album. Like, it was actually a really good album. Now, a lot of people love to shit on Metallica, and some of it is rightly deserved. I mean, they have released some, less than top quality albums over the years. Mostly Saint Anger, which I will say right now is easily one of the worst albums ever in the history of heavy metal. Easily. Just awful album. And then they did that thing with Lulu, which was a weird fucking album and not Metallica at all. But this album, what I really liked about Hardwired to Self-Destruct was Death Magnetic, their most recent album prior to this, was kind of like them going back to their roots, and in some ways it was kind of like a somebody's gonna kick my ass for saying this, but it was, I had a very Injustice for All vibe from this album in terms of like the style they were trying to go with. It was kind of like a light version of that. What I really like about Hardwired to Self-Destruct is it took elements from their entire career and like intertwined it into like a logical conclusion. So you had stuff, of course, you had like the thrashy, fast-paced songs like Spit Out the Bone, which is easily my favorite song off this track or off this album. And then you had songs like Dream No More, which sound like they could have been takes off of Load and Reload, which was kind of their like experimental bluesier phase during the mid to late 90s, which I just thought that was really cool. They had a lot of really good songs that came out. And the cool thing about this album is if you don't go out of your way to buy it, you can actually listen to every single song off of this album for free. The band hosted this album on their YouTube channel, and they made music videos for every single song. So go out, check those songs out. A lot of them are really good, and yeah, it's easily my album of the year.
Finally, Jesus Christ, I was afraid you were going to go into even more depth on that one. I was afraid we were going to get a fucking review. I'm just trying to give out awards. I should have known better than let you fucking have a music award.
Of course.
But the next award we're going to do is the Anime of the Year award, and for me, this is basically mostly me, but Dave will have some input on it because we actually watched both animes I'm talking about. The honorable mention is Dragon Ball Super, which had a fantastic 2016, and actually we'll talk a bit more about that later. But the Anime of the Year for me had to go to David Productions' adaptation of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, which aired all throughout 2016. It was fucking fantastic. I love Part 4 already. It wasn't my favorite part. Part 2 is still my favorite, and Joe's still my favorite Joestar. But I definitely have to say that they did a great job with Part 4. They had the style perfectly down. All the openings were fantastic, and of course they picked one ending that they updated throughout the season. I love the new cast that they picked. Some of the voices were a bit different from the main game.
The games.
And, yeah. But they were really good. Like, Kira's voice was different, but I liked it a lot. Kira's voice actor did a fantastic job. And
I think they actually did get the show's voice actor for Eyes of Heaven. Or if not...
I think they did. It was mostly different from All Star.
Yeah, because I know it was the same voice actor in Eyes of Heaven, or at the very least, it was really damn close. But
yeah. Oh no, I'm pretty sure like in All Star Battle, the guy who did Kira did the Part 5 villain instead. Yeah, but yeah, I think they did a great job. And Dave, this is your first time experiencing Part 4. So what were your thoughts
I loved
on
it.
that?
It's honestly, I liked Part 3 the most for a long time, but I think Part 4 just might edge it out because it's, you know, part of it is I like the setting. I also like that it really kind of adds the bizarre part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure more so than
the adventure, because I feel like it was reversed that in Part 3. It's more of an adventure than it was bizarre, while this one, almost all the story takes place in one time.
Yeah. And I really like that Part 4 puts the bizarre in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because it's not even just what happens. Like, everything about this is really weird. You see a lot of weird stands, like the tower is a stand on its own, and weird characters and very kooky and odd, and you know. And I like that it also it didn't really stay as a horror series like the first arc did, you know, like Part 1 did, and even going up into Part 3, you know, they had a lot of horror elements. This really just was like way out of left field, and I really liked it for that.
Though Kira was a pretty horror.
Oh yeah,
villain.
Yeah. Kira was when they started kind of really bringing in that horror element, and Kira is honestly, I think Kira might be my favorite villain. Like, he might actually pass Dio, because
he passed Dio for me,
really
definitely.
like Kira.
I fucking love Kira. He just wants to. He's not even really a villain per se. They kind of pick a fight with him.
Well, I mean, he's clearly not a good guy. He's clearly a piece of shit,
No,
but at the same time, he's not.
It's actually the heroes that antagonize him in the fighting.
Yeah.
So he's a piece of shit, and like in the real world, he'd be a villain. But in terms of like what traditionally a villain is, he's really not a proper villain. He's brought into battle by the.
And what I like about Kira too is that once they introduce him, he is routinely involved in almost everything that goes on. It's not like Dio, where it's like, you know, he's there, but he's just kind of in the shadows the whole time. You see him, he does things, he even interacts with the good guys on multiple occasions, you know, and just when you think they finally got him, he finds a way to get out of the situation until his very end.
Yeah. So, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, it's available for free on Crunchyroll. Guys, come on. Crunchyroll is a fantastic service. If you can, it even has some dubbed anime on there. The JoJo dub's not great. I'll tell you that right now. It's not
Don't tell T
great.
that. He'll
I know, but like, it's not good. It's not good. The sub I hate to be one of those people, but the sub is way better. It's way,
Yeah,
way
I watched the
better.
subs.
I promise you. So that's that award out of the way. The next one is mostly me, because I don't think you followed too much football this season. But it's going to be the NFL MVP award. My honorable mention is going to get a Matt Ryan, the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, because he was a fucking monster quarterback. I can see him actually winning the actual MVP award this season. As much as the person I picked, I think, deserves it more, fanboyism aside. Matt Ryan had like over 4,000 yards, I want to say. Actually, no, I'll pull up his actual stats real quick. But he had a phenomenal year. Let's see, Matt Ryan stats 2016, because the season's now over. So let's see here. This is actually going to give me what I fucking want. No, it's giving me career stats. Oh, wait, no, that's fine. That's fine, actually. Alright, so yeah, he got 4,944 yards total this season. 38 touchdowns to only 7 interceptions with an overall QBR of 117.1.
Damn.
That's fucking nuts. That's an average of 309 yards a game.
That's nuts.
Yeah, the breakout year for them. They're the number 2 seed in the NFC, second to my Dallas Cowboys, which brings me to my award winner for MVP, which is Ezekiel Elliott, the rookie running back for Dallas. He dominated the league in rushing by over 300 yards. He had 15 touchdowns. He had over 1,600 total rushing yards, and he only had 12 plays in the last 2 games. So imagine if they had played him proper the last 2 games, what his stats would have been. And this guy's a rookie. He's a fucking rookie. And it was easy to also say that our rookie quarterback could be deserving of MVP. And in a way, he probably is. There's the cases you can make for Dak Prescott. But god damn, for a rookie to have this kind of year, Matt Ryan's not a fucking rookie. You know, he's been around a long time. He's just now getting good. This kid's good straight out the gate. And like rushing, you know, you could argue that rushing yards are harder to get than pass yards because they'll give a quarterback up yards based on how far the receiver takes the ball. He could throw a 4-yard pass that goes for fucking 80 because of the receiver, not because of anything he did. While with a running back, you actually have to actually get every last yard themselves. So I think, for me, Ezekiel Elliott, runaway MVP. So our next award is going to be the most anticipated game of 2017. And Dave, you have an honorable mention. We actually have 2 different honorable mentions for this one, which is a theme with the honorable mentions every now and then. We do have different opinions sometimes. So Dave, you can take away with your honorable mention for anticipated.
I'm going to go with Horizon Zero Dawn, and only because this game just looks like it's going to be off the goddamn rails, and it looks batshit insane, and I want to play it. It's basically going to be like an open world. You know, you see these characters, it's kind of like tribal, and then all of a sudden, they're fighting robot dinosaurs. Mind fucking blown. And the game looks badass as shit, and I want to play it.
Yeah, it was a close contender for me, but even though the fact that my honorable mentions actually won my most anticipated game of the year award for the past 2 years, so that tells you about how this game's development cycle has fucking went. But mine's going to Persona 5. It has to. I've talked about Persona 5 so much. It was supposed to come out in 2014, then 2015. It didn't come out in Japan in 2016. And it's finally coming out at the beginning of April 2017. Stephanie's getting me the collector's edition. I cannot fucking wait. But the winner of our most anticipated game of the year award for 2017 is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You're talking about how Horizon looks kind of wild. This game has wild in the title. That's how wild it's gonna be on the Wii U and Nintendo.
It's running wild, brother. Anyway,
it looks fucking fantastic.
It's the first open world Zelda game since the first one. I mean, think about that. The first Zelda game is an actual open world game to a point. And this is the first game since then to really be open world.
The only problem for me is that, like, I want a Nintendo Switch, but I'm not getting one at launch, which is apparently rumored to be March. So I probably won't even get to play it in 2017. Unless the Wii U version is cheaper, then I might pick that up. But, like, I know that it's rumored now to be a launch title for the Switch. And if that's the case, you know, it'll be coming out really early, not really at a good time. So I will get to play it later in the year, most likely. But I still really, really want to play this game.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to kind of blitz through these last few awards here. Alright, so our most or not even most disappointing, but the disappointment of the year. Honorable mention goes to the PlayStation Plus free games for 2016, because, man, they did not fucking try.
Oh my god, no, they did not. A lot of it is walking simulators or like boring indie games that I just don't care about. And it's like,
yeah, it's a bunch of fluff.
It's you know, it's sad because when PlayStation Plus was first introduced, they were like, oh, we're gonna have all these free games, and they're not just gonna be cheap little shit games either. They're gonna be like nice, good, big budget games that they've been out for a while, but yeah, they were still big budget games. Now it's like the indie of the week.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm fucking tired of it. And we'll wait.
All right, I think.
But the overall winner for disappointment of the year has to go to No Man's Sky.
Yeah, this one was... And, I mean, part of the reason why it was a huge disappointment is kind of our own fault. Because we bought into hype that, honestly, we probably shouldn't have. I mean...
Yeah, but it was hard not to. Everyone fell
yeah,
for it. Everyone did.
On our show, we've been saying for months, this game is going to be the game that changes gaming. This is going to be like a monumental game in history. You know, one that's going to change the way... It's going to just change the playing field, for lack of a better term. It was going to be this huge, historic release. And it was pretty much out for a couple weeks. Everybody got pissed off, and then people forgot about it.
Yeah, no one plays this game anymore. I don't play this game anymore. You don't play this game anymore. We both deleted the game. And I don't, unless they significantly revamp it over the next year, I don't see myself ever.
There's a lot of reasons why this game could have been a lot better than it was, and the fact is, I mean, yeah, exploring space is cool, but you go to the same looking planets all the time. You're basically doing the same thing on each planet. You barely interact with NPCs, let alone interact with actual people. You don't interact with actual people at all. It's just not. It's not as good as. It's just not as good as it should have been.
Right. Alright, so that brings us to our next award, which is Redemption of the Year. Honorable mentions go to the Dallas Cowboys for me for going from a 4-12 season to a 13-3 season. And Dave,
the New York Giants, because we somehow made it to the playoffs despite Eli Manning completely shitting the bed.
Because your defense won you a
yes,
fuck
it did.
Games. That's how you got into the playoffs. And I don't think I hate to say it. I'm not saying it because you're a Giants fan. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I don't see you guys making it very far.
I mean, history has shown that when we actually make, because we play like bums during the regular season, but for some reason, once we get to the off season or the postseason, a switch just gets turned on and we suddenly play like gods among children. I don't know how or why or what triggers this, but it happens, and we're going to Lambeau, and we have a history of beating them in Lambeau in the off season or in the postseason, and hopefully for me, we make it. But
Well, if you make it, you're coming to Jerry World, and the Cowboys are beating you after you beat us twice in the regular season.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I fucking, I want you guys to come to Jerry World. I do. Because I know for a fact that lightning will not strike 3 times. It will not strike thrice.
We'll see.
But our winner for Redemption of the Year, with a runaway fucking victory for the record, is Dragon Ball Super.
Absolutely. Dragon Ball Super. Well, let's try to make this quick, I guess. But when the series first came out, it sucked.
It was just the movies being rehashed poorly.
Yeah, bad animation, really lame plots. Like, they somehow managed to make, the movie plots, which were all generally pretty good, they somehow managed to turn them into shit.
But they improved the Frieza one a little bit with the Ginyu stuff.
That one was a little bit. There was still a lot of, bullshit things in there, though. But, but then all of a sudden, we got into the actual original content. And that's when things improved significantly.
Especially once we hit the fucking Goku Black arc, which made Black my favorite villain in all of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though, believe it or not, there's actually mixed opinions on it. A lot of people, for some reason, really think, one, they think the arc went on too long. They don't like Zamasu, or...
But yet they fucking love the arcs in Dragon Ball Z, where the fucking fights that were 2 manga chapters. Goku versus Majin Vegeta were like 3
Or
episodes.
how about Trunks going, Ultra Saiyan on Cell being, half an episode?
Or the infamous 5 minutes on Namek.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna tell me, oh no, a 20 episode arc is too long? What the fuck?
For real.
They're just nitpicky. Take off your fucking nostalgia goggles, people. Dragon Ball Z was good, but this arc was on that same level.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't have your old school animation, and it had its problems even with animation despite the increased budget, it was still really good. The fights were amazing.
Absolutely.
But, alright, our next award is going to be our Heel of the Year award. Honorable mention goes to Pro Wrestling, because we talked about that at the top of the show. And the winner for Heel of the Year is 2016.
At the start of the year, we kind of made this joke about, because a lot of celebrities died within a month. We made a joke basically, 2016's on a rampage. Well, the joke lost its charm fast.
Because it actually, it got ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially at the end, where it took Carrie Fisher and then spun around and took Debbie Reynolds right at the end.
It was just absolutely abysmal how many fucking people 2016 took.
It took Prince, and then at the end of the year, it took our princess.
Yeah. And, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think 2016's Rampage started in 2015. How? Because Lemmy was the gatekeeper.
Oh, here
Lemmy was the gatekeeper. That was the man that people believed couldn't die. And he did. And then all of a sudden, everybody's dying right after. I'm telling you, man, it's fucking real.
All right, Jesse.
I saw the documents.
So our Face of the Year awards up next. Honorable mention for me goes to my beautiful girlfriend Stephanie. If it wasn't for her, I would not have probably made it through 2016 very well. But she supported me through everything I've done, whether it's been on here or school or whatever. She's always had my back, and I can't wait to spend more actual time with her when we move in together in 2017. And Dave,
Yeah, mine is nowhere near as sweet or romantic. Mine goes to the Misfits for having a reunion show. Wow, how shallow.
Boo!
How fucking shallow. But there's a little bit of history with this because
But remember, we need to end the show. So
I know, I'm just going to try and make it quick.
It's music, I know, so you're going to...
Basically, 30 years ago, Jerry Only, Glenn Danzig, they were in a band called the Misfits, and then the band broke up. and there was a lot of legal issues between Danzig and Only, and the two basically went on to hate each other for like 20 years. And they finally decided, you know what, let's put our differences aside, let's actually do this reunion show, and holy shit, the two shows were awesome as hell. And this could lead to some potential albums with Danzig as the frontman again, and I'm really looking forward to that. Here's hoping that the two of them put their fucking egos aside and just create some really awesome horror punk music.
All right, and our winner for Face of the Year 2016 goes to our former writing staff of the Superplex Bros website. We talked about this at the top of the show, but you guys really, you held the fucking torch when the fucking people who set the fire were down and out. You guys put out fantastic work. You were always willing to forgive us for not pulling our weight. And, you know, we thank you, can't thank you enough for everything you did. And then, you know, we're excited that some of you are returning for the IPA website. But if you're not, that's fine. Thanks for everything you've done over the past couple of years. Whether you were there for a few months or for 2 years, doesn't matter. Dave, let you follow that up.
First off, just a round of applause to them. T, Austin, Ben, you guys really, as Matt said, you held down the fort. And honestly, I don't think, if it was just me and Matt, the website would not have lasted as long. We've went through some writers over the years. Some stayed for about a hot minute. The others have, you know, really put their weight in through the time. But I think that the core of that three was when we were our most motivated and when we put out our best work. And they really stepped their game up even when we didn't. I want to say, just from the bottom of my heart, and I'm pretty sure Matt agrees, thank you both, or thank you all three. And I am just incredibly sorry that it had to come to this, because I didn't want it to end this way. I mean, I was devastated, but the reality is crystal clear. And just thank you guys. You are the face of the year, and we hope that we gave you a bit of an outlet to write for a while. And if you guys want to continue pursuing writing, by all means, please do, because I truly believe that the three of you have talent in writing, and you guys really should consider pursuing it further, because you guys put out some hella great work with us. Just please, just keep going.
Yeah. So that brings us to our final award, which is our biggest award every year. It's Game of the Year, and this year's honorable mention goes to Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, because god damn it, they were the best Pokemon games I've ever played. And yes, I've had over a month to think about that. Gen 7 are the best Pokemon games. Take off your fucking nostalgia goggles, like I fucking threw them off my head. Gen 2 has been surpassed in terms of quality. Now, you can argue quantity, but if you really want to get down to it, Gen 2 story ends in Johto. Kanto's just fucking there.
Pretty much. And, I mean, for me, not necessarily nostalgia goggles, but Black 2 and White 2 were my favorite game for a while, but Sun and Moon, it just had quality storytelling. There was a lot of crazy batshit moments that I don't think will ever be topped.
It wasn't anime. It wasn't anime,
yeah,
straight up.
But it also introduced some really cool Pokemon. It also had some really good game mechanics. I think the Pokemon refresh system is really cool. It adds a lot of nice elements, and honestly, it's just a really solid game. Like, I think, and it's funny too, because Pokemon Sun and Moon basically went back to RPG roots to make the game fresh again, and it worked.
It's almost to the point where, like, if we went back to gyms in Gen 8, I probably wouldn't even mind.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want them to, because I want trials and all that to be, like, an Alolan specialty.
Yeah. But I also want the gyms to kind of have the same feel as the trials did. Make them actually special, not just, oh, hey, I happen to go into this town, there's a gym here. La-di-da-di-da, walk in, yeah, I got a gym badge. I would never see this unique character.
Make them dungeons. Again. Make them actual dungeons.
Yeah.
But
maybe instead of battling like trainers who work under the gym leader, you're going against other challengers, and only one of you can get to the
that
leader.
I think that would be pretty cool.
So that's just my idea on that anyway.
Yeah.
So that leads us to our game of the year, which we both said it at the exact same time talking about these yesterday. It's Uncharted
Without
4.
question.
Uncharted 4 is a fucking masterpiece. We had a whole podcast dedicated to that game, basically, and I stand by everything I said then. I may not have played the game much since, but Uncharted 4 is without a doubt in my mind one of the best games, if not, and definitely within the top 3 best games I've ever played. If not,
I said this when we did that podcast, and people who know me well enough know I am not quick to say that a modern game is among my favorites of all time. But Uncharted 4 made it. I think that says it all.
Yeah. I mean, now you're getting more into modern games than ever before over the past 2 years or so, but, like, Uncharted was something special.
It really was. It was, I love the story. Like, now, I had the luxury, basically, of experiencing the entire series back to back.
Yeah, you got the collection, and then while you were getting the collection, 4 came out, and you got that as well.
Yeah. I basically bought it right then and there and just marathoned all of the games back to back. And I think that might have played a role because Uncharted 4 was just such a crescendo to everything up to that point. It was the perfect ending to what has been just about the perfect series. And I love Uncharted 4. It's easily now in my top 5 games of all time. And I don't say that lightly. People who know me know I don't say that lightly. And I love Uncharted 4. It's easily the best Uncharted game. It's easily the best game in modern gaming, in my opinion. And that's all I really have to say about that.
You pretty much summed up everything that I could possibly say on it. I already love Naughty Dog. I'm biased as fuck. They're my favorite developers. But they're my favorite developers for a very good reason. They put out the finest of work, and Uncharted 4 was the embodiment of that. And now we already have The Last of Us Part 2 to look forward to, probably in 2018, or 2019 even, if we're being realistic. But you even played The Last of Us. Have you finished it, or have you just started it?
I didn't get too far in it. I've been playing it with Christina, because she's been wanting me to really play this game. But I've been enjoying it. I had to yell at her, though, because she wants to fucking skip the cutscenes, and I had to tell her no.
Oh, no. No, you can't do that. That's the best
I know.
part. It's Naughty Dog's writing is probably one of their
I had to yell at her because because that's what she does when she plays. And I'm like, no, you're playing with me. I don't know this fucking story. We're watching the goddamn story.
Yeah.
So...
But that's neither here nor there. Either way, Uncharted 4 is the game of the year. That's going to wrap up our 2016 awards, and that's actually going to wrap up this show. So, on behalf of Dave, myself, and everyone else who's connected with the Superplex Bros, thanks for dealing with us in 2016. We are back, I promise you. We are back for 2017. We're going to put out quality stuff. Podcast hopefully nearly every week unless otherwise stated, and this is a good first return show. Thanks for everyone who came out in the stream chat. I'll shout you out all right now. We had Nathan, we had Jeff, we had T, and we had Mike. Thanks everyone for coming out. Probably starting in the next podcast, because we had to do a state of the brand address, we will have more interaction, a section just with interaction with the chat. But again, thanks so much for coming out, guys. Thanks for listening. If you're listening on SoundCloud, make sure you follow us on Facebook so you can find out when the next live show is and come out to the live show. Be part of the conversation with us on Facebook and on YouTube. And guys, Happy New Year. Hope you had a great holidays, and we will see you next time.